Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're watching last week, you'll have seen me present an introduction to a brand new construction project in my workshop. This week I'm going to start building benchwork for it. I will apologise in advance. A couple of the video segments were out of focus. I didn't notice it until it was too late. So as I say, I apologise for that in advance. I hope the value of what I have to say means that it's still worthwhile watching it. So without further ado, let's just head out to the workshop and get that project underway. Well, I am out in a rather empty workshop. I have some plywood that was delivered a few days ago. I also have some strips that I've already cut, and I am today starting on the construction of the small ON30 railroad I talked about last week. Seems to have taken me forever to get started. First the plywood delivery was delayed, and then I wasn't feeling well. And then I got out here today and realised that I hadn't finished cleaning up the workshop. But I have now finally got the first two pieces joined together. So the railroad construction is officially underway. I'm starting with the big corner section. I'm going to get that one done first. I'll probably get that finished this afternoon, and then I will hopefully have a more productive day tomorrow. I'm going to turn the camera off, get back to work, and I'll talk to you again later. Well, I've got the main outer trapezium done. These four pieces are joined together. Because the side rails are not perfectly straight, I have clamped straight edges along the side of them, and then I've cut the middle brace. That's going to go in next, and then that will hold everything nice and straight, and then I will fill in all the others afterwards. You may note that there's no wiring holes in this frame. That's because there's going to be 3-inch risers, and I'm going to put all the wiring through the risers above the main frame, so it's a little bit further from the bottom edge of the benchwork. Well, that is the first corner section fully framed up. With all these cross joists on the angled piece, I just measured each one individually, installed them one at a time. And then once I've finished that, it's just a case of putting this end piece on. I'm going to turn that over and sand the bottom now, and then I'm going to start marking out the next one. Well, here is the outline of the next benchwork section. The end and the front side, well, it's actually going to be the back side eventually, but the side towards the camera. Those go around the walls. This angled bit is where the drop flap connects. And here I've just got a piece of wood cut off at the right angle at this end, resting on the frame at the other end. I've made sure that the two ends are parallel, so I can mark that and then cut it to length, and then I can get that piece installed, and the rest of it is pretty simple after that. Well, that's all I'm going to do today. I have the front side stringer installed, and I have all the cross members cut. Zeus is waiting very patiently for his dinner, so I'm going to go in now and feed him, and I'll come back out again tomorrow. So stay tuned, and I will see you then. The first thing I did this morning was to get all those cross braces in, the ones that I cut last night before I went in. All I've got to do on this frame now is get that corner extension installed. 2 of the pieces are already cut. I still got to measure the third one, and then I can put that together. It won't take long. So let me do that, and I'll be right back. Well, that frame is now done. All I've got to do now is turn it over, sand the bottom, and then I can put it with the other one and start on the third one. This corner is deliberately left long. I don't know exactly how long that has to be. I will mark that and cut that off to length once I have the next frame installed against it. That is 2 sections completed, and that's also all the wood that I cut up yesterday. So I'm going to have to get back on the table saw and cut another sheet. Let me do that quickly, and I'll be right back. Well, this is the section that goes against the other tapered one that I made yesterday. And this corner cut out here is the bit that goes around the reveal, around the end of the wall into the closet. So this end here is actually just inside the closet. This is in the room. And that small piece in front of the camera now is in the wall. going to get this sanded, get it put into place, and then I'll start working on the next one. Well, there it is, positioned next to the other two. This tail here is at the moment too long. I don't know exactly how long it's got to be yet. It's another one that I will cut off once I have everything built. There will eventually be a piece of curved fascia in there. But at the moment, I don't know how big it's got to be. So that's 3 of the 4 main pieces done. Then we get on with the last one. Well, I say the last one, the last of the 4 main frames. The drop flap, although it's the smallest, will probably also be the most complex. Well, that is most of the section that goes in the closet. I've still got to get a little bit added onto this area, which is going to line up with the drop flap. But I don't have accurate dimensions for that. So I think the best thing to do is to get it up on legs and then build that in situ. This tail is the right length. It lines up with the piece over there. So there will be a piece of plywood that will come across the end of that where my hand is. But then the rest of it is going to be at a 37-degree angle. So I think the thing to do now is to go back to the table saw and cut all the parts for the legs. Well, this morning, the first thing I've done is built the legs. I need 12 of them to support the railroad in the workshop, although once it gets installed at the client's home, most of them won't be required. The rest will be supported on the walls. The legs for this project were really easy to do. They're all the same length, so I just batch built them all in one go. Drilling the holes to put the T-nuts in the bottom, the easiest way to do it is just to lean them against the workbench and clamp them between my knees. Anyway, the T-nuts are only temporary. The client has a hardwood floor in his train room, which he assures me is perfectly level. So I will take them off when I do the final installation. I just need them now because my workshop floor is not quite flat. Anyway, the next step is to move over to the middle of the room and start installing them under the benchwork. So let me get on with that, and I'll be right back. Well, that is all 12 legs attached. 3 of the 4 sections each get 4 legs, and the last one will just be slung between the other 2. At the moment, I've only got minimal bracing on it. Ultimately, I will probably need a lot more bracing on the 2 sections either side of the drop flap, but that will be enough for now. The next thing to do is to get everything leveled and joined together. This afternoon, I started by leveling these 2 at the end. I've now put temporary blocks under that one and under there. So now this frame that's still lying on the floor, I'm going to lift it into place. Just let it sit across that gap while I level this one. And then I can join everything together. Well, that is everything leveled. It's still temporarily clamped together. This splice plate along the back also helps support it, because obviously I can't put any framing in this area where the wall has to go. That will of course come off when I dismantle the railroad for transportation and reassembly. Next thing I need is 6 bolts. I'll get those installed and then I'll be right back. Well, that is all 4 sections bolted together and the clamps removed. I decided I am going to add some more bracing. It's not quite as sturdy as I would have liked, bearing in mind that of course I need an accurate opening at this point to be able to build the drop flap. So I'm just going to go away, add that bracing, and then I'll talk to you again later. Well, just a few extra braces has made a huge difference. I'm not going to completely brace all the bottoms of all the legs and put cross members between them at the bottom, because that will restrict access underneath the railroad when I need to get in there and do the wiring. As it stands at the moment, it is plenty sturdy enough, so I'm just going to leave it like that. Well, that's all for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it, found it useful or interesting, or both, and I hope to see you back next week, where I'm going to continue where I left off. I'm going to build the drop flap and the cantilever that supports it at the end. And I hope to see you back here for that. So until then, thanks for watching, and bye for now.